Let's talk about your solar inverter and something absolutely critical for its health and safety: how it stays cool. This is a bigger deal than you might think, and it's the answer to a question you've probably wondered about, right? Have you ever noticed that? You walk past one solar setup, and there's this constant whirring sound from a fan. You walk past another, and it's dead silent. Well, that's not random. It's actually a clue to a huge design decision that has major consequences for how reliable your system is going to be long term. Okay, let's get right into it. The secret behind the noise, or the silence, is all about how inverters deal with an enemy they all share: waste heat. Because every single inverter, no matter how good, creates it. At the heart of this is a concept called efficiency loss. Look, nothing in the universe is 100% perfect, and that includes your inverter. Its job is to turn DC power from your panels into AC power for your house, but some energy always gets lost in that conversion. A really, really good modern inverter might hit around 95% efficiency. Now, that sounds fantastic, and frankly, it is. That means 95% of all that sunshine hitting your panels is making it into your home as usable electricity. But what happens to the rest? Well, this is the crucial part. That other 5% doesn't just disappear into thin air. It gets converted directly into pure, raw heat, trapped right there with all the sensitive electronics inside your inverter. And that heat has to go somewhere. So that brings us to the fork in the road. Manufacturers have two main strategies for getting this heat out. It's a classic engineering puzzle with two very different solutions. On one side, you have active cooling. You can think of this as the brute force approach, using fans to literally blow the hot air out. And on the other side, you have passive cooling, the strong and silent type, which uses smart design to let heat escape naturally. Let's start with active cooling. The biggest pro? Fans are awesome at getting a lot of heat out of a small box, which lets designers make the inverters more compact. But, and it's a big but, they have moving parts. Fans are a point of failure. The motor can die, the vents can get clogged with dust and leaves, and then your cooling system is completely useless. Now, for passive cooling, this is why some inverters are silent. They use these big metal heat sinks, usually with a bunch of fins, to create a massive surface area. Heat just naturally radiates away. The upside is huge. It's completely silent and incredibly reliable because there are zero moving parts to break down. The catch? It needs a lot more space. And it absolutely depends on having clear, unrestricted airflow all around it to work.
So we know there's heat, but how much are we really talking about? Well, we can actually calculate it, and you might be surprised at the numbers.
Let's run a quick real-world scenario. Imagine it's a nice sunny day, and your panels are pumping out 3,000 watts of DC power. That power goes to your 95% efficient inverter, which then sends 2,850 watts of AC power to your house. The math is pretty simple. What's left over? 150 watts. That's the difference. But it's not just a number. It's 150 watts of energy being turned into pure heat. Now, to really feel what that means, think of an old-school 150-watt incandescent light bulb. You know, the kind that gets so hot you can't even touch it. It's like having one of those running constantly inside that sealed metal inverter box. That's a lot of heat. And understanding that amount of heat is so important, because if that cooling system fails, whether it's a fan or a heatsink, the results can get very serious very fast. This isn't just about efficiency anymore. It's about safety. Let's break down the risks. For an active fan-cooled system, the main danger is that fan dying or getting clogged. When that happens, the temperature inside can skyrocket in minutes, and that creates a potential fire hazard. For a passive system, the danger is a bit sneakier. If you block the airflow, say by putting things in front of it or letting dust build up on the fins, it can't cool itself properly. It'll start to overheat slowly, which degrades the components and eventually leads to a system shutdown. And here's the kicker that affects everybody: the weather. On a brutally hot day, we're talking over 45 Celsius or about 113 Fahrenheit. Any cooling system is pushed to its absolute limit. Hot air just can't absorb as much heat, so the inverter has to work way, way harder to stay safe. So, now we get the problem and the risks. The big question is, what can you actually do about it? Well, the great news is that keeping your inverter happy and cool is actually pretty simple. Here's a quick checklist. Number 1, and this is the most important one: give it room to breathe. Never ever block the fan vents or the heatsink vents.
That means don't stuff it into a tiny cabinet with no ventilation. Second, every now and then just take a look. See any dust building up? Gently clean it off. And finally, know your equipment. Your manual will tell you the maximum temperature it's designed to work in. It's good to know that number.
So the next time you walk past your inverter, take a second and look at it with new eyes. Is it one of the noisy fan models or a silent one with fins? Are its airways clear? Is it crowded by other stuff? Just asking yourself those simple questions helps make sure that the heart of your solar system will keep running safely and efficiently for years to come.